Yesterday, we broke down ESPN's big surprise that they revealed about the New Orleans Saints. And so in today's video, we're going to break down my top 5 players who will surprise or shock the NFL. Basically, if you want to see what ESPN had to say, you can click on this thumbnail after you watch this video. Of course, it's also linked in the comments or description of this video. And you can check out what ESPN's Catherine Terrell had to say around a big surprise for the New Orleans Saints this year. I won't give you any hints, but I will tell you it's very, very informative. So like I said, today I'm going to go through my top 5 players who will shock the NFL, who's going to be a big surprise for the black and gold this year. I'm going to give you my take here in today's video. But before we dive in, guys, we got to tell you there's brand new updates and new uniforms, not really, new helmets, I should say, coming to the New Orleans Saints. They announced today on Twitter that July 9th, which is tomorrow, they will be releasing a new helmet. So be sure to subscribe because we'll get you guys informed on what those look like. But some Saints fans, they kind of altered the picture. They tried to mess with it, and this is what they found. And, you know, if you ask me, that looks like a white helmet. And I personally believe it should be a white helmet. I would love to see it be a white helmet. In fact, Cam Jordan replied to my tweet whenever I broke down or posted like this picture right here. I actually found like an edit of this one. It was like a picture of the helmet spinning and stuff. Basically, he said, I think you might be in the right color, wrong schematic. So that's his tweets if you want to go check it out. Trace Gerard 48 on X. I think it's going to be a white helmet. I'm really excited. I would love to see the white helmet with the Color Rush uniforms or even the white uniforms. I mean, come on. We're due for a new helmet, and I'm excited to see it. So tomorrow, we will get the new helmet released. No updates on new uniforms outside of a helmet, but we will get you informed, so be sure to subscribe. And without further ado, let's break down the top 5 players I think will shock the NFL. Number 5, we're going to go with quarterback Tyler Shough, and this one's going to be a little bit of a cop-out to some of y'all, but hear me out and let me explain my case. I'm not going to sit here and say that Tyler Shough is going to be the best quarterback in the league. I'm not going to even sit here and tell you that Tyler Shough is going to be the best rookie quarterback this year. But what I will tell you is I've seen a lot of content and a lot of media classify Tyler Shough as the 32nd ranked quarterback, meaning he's the dead last in quarterback rankings. And I think that he will be much better than dead last. Again, I'm not saying he's going to go and be absolutely lights out. I would love for that to be the case, but I think that's an unrealistic expectation to set. He's going to be 26 years old when he starts in the National Football League, and I think that it's important for the New Orleans Saints fans to give Kellen Moore and Tyler Shough a chance. Kellen Moore is the first hire we've had in New Orleans that has been an external hire since Sean Payton was around. So, in my opinion, I would like to see this offensive guru, this very creative, very well-versed, very smart football nerd, high IQ, smart football mind. I want to see him and Kellen Moore work with the guy that he handpicked. He didn't have to go and draft a quarterback very, very early. He could have just said, screw it, we're rolling with Spencer Rattler or Jake Haener, or we're going to sign somebody, or we'll get somebody late in the draft and we'll let him throw him into the competition and see what happens there. But the Saints opted to use a top 50 pick, number 40 overall on Tyler Shough. So I think it's important to give both Kellen Moore and Tyler Shough a chance, because why not? Why not the Saints? Why not Kellen Moore? Why not Tyler Shough? Just give them a chance. It may not be pretty, but I think it's important to give them an opportunity because I do think that there is some really, really nice skills there. I think Tyler Shough can be a solid starting quarterback, and who knows, maybe this guy has a lot of talent that Kellen Moore sees that the rest of us didn't. So in my personal opinion, I think that we really should give Tyler Shough the opportunity to prove himself, and I think that he can shock the National Football League. I'm not going to say he's going to win us a Super Bowl, but I think that he's going to be much better than the dead last quarterback this year. So if Tyler Shough has a big year, well, that means that there's probably a couple other players who had big years as a benefit to that. So Chris Olave is number 4 that we're going to go with on this list. I believe that Chris Olave will have a big season going into year 4. The Saints picked up his 5th-year option because they believe in this player, and I think that Kellen Moore is a very crafty head coach, and he's known to tap into the skill set of his players and of the roster that he has. And I think that we have not even scratched the surface of what Chris Olave, I keep calling him Chris. I don't know what's going on. Chris Olave. I don't even think we've scratched the surface of what Chris Olave is capable of doing. And throughout his career, 191 receptions, 10 touchdowns, over 2,500 yards. Last year, a very down year because he missed so much time due to injury. And whenever he's healthy, when he can play a considerable amount of time, he's a proven 1,000-yard player. So I want to see the touchdowns increase for Chris Olave. I want to see the yardage increase for Chris Olave. And I want to see the opportunity increase for Chris Olave. All in all, I want to see the Saints unleash number 12. He is a very exciting player. He has a lot of unique skills. And I think that he's a player that really does have an opportunity to shine. I've said this before so many times. We haven't even scratched the surface of what Chris Olave is capable of doing. And I truly do believe with a good quarterback play, with smart coaching from Kellen Moore, you can truly see this player excel and be a dominant alpha wide receiver. I do believe that he can be a wide receiver one in the National Football League. He just hasn't had a lot of help throughout his career between Andy Dalton and Spencer Rattler and Jameis Winston and all the different guys that he's had throwing him the ball. It's about time he finally gets an opportunity to have a settled situation where he can thrive and the offense can be surrounded, or this offense can be surrounded around him. Like, he can be the center of the offense and he can be the guy that is moving the ball downfield. That's what I really want to see from Chris Olave. And plus, he's looking pretty jacked. I'll say this. He was listed at 187 pounds on ESPN and on the New Orleans Saints website, but I can tell you right now that is not 187 pounds. That guy looks much bigger than the Chris Olave we saw last year. He's wanting to play at 195 pounds, which I think is a benefit for Chris Olave. It'll make him more physical. It'll make it easier for him to come down with those contested catches. I think it'll protect his body a little bit more. And all in all, I just think him having more size is a big, big win, not just for Chris Olave, but for us fans as well. Now, which Saints players do you think will shock the National Football League this year? I want to hear from you in the comment section. Get creative, have some fun with it, and share your thoughts down below. Now, really quickly, I want to tell you who my number 3 player is, and that is going to be Juwan Johnson. I'm going to explain my case here in just one moment, but today's show would not be made possible if it weren't for our amazing friends over at Chubby Shorts. I absolutely love Chubby Shorts. They are my favorite sponsor we have here at Chat Sports because Chubby's has been a part of my wardrobe since back when I was in high school. They've been with me throughout college, in my young grad life, and then now here as I venture into the young adult life in the real adult world, I'm still rocking Chubby Shorts because they're comfy, they look good, they make me feel good, and I was the best dressed at my 4th of July party because I was rocking Chubby. Summer's here, fellas, which means it's time to let the dogs out, and of course, by dogs, we mean your legs. So if your pups have been stuck in jeans or sweats for the last few months, it's time to set them free with the Line Swim Collection from Chubby's. Whether you're poolside, lakeside, oceanside, or you got a shoddy on your side, these trunks are ready to travel and make you perform at your best. Life's too short for uncomfortable swim trunks, so these babies are set up for all-day comfort with quick-dry stretch fabric and a built-in liner that actually does its job. No more chafing, no more swamp ass, no more mesh disasters. I'm here to tell you, Chubby Shorts and their swim trunks, they are vibrant, they are comfortable, they look good, and you will be the freshest looking at the pool. So whether you're suiting up for cannonballs, cookouts, or a casual Friday, Chubby's has you covered. For a limited time, Chubby's is giving listeners of Saints Now by Chat Sports 20% off your order with code CHAT at chubbyshorts.com. That's code CHAT at chubbyshorts.com. Support our show and let them know that we sent you. You can click the link that's in the comments or description of this video. It'll take you directly to the Chubby's website and apply that 20% coupon. So be sure to go get yourself swagged out and use the link for chubbyshorts.com and go use code CHAT to get geared up today. Now, I know that there's another couple players that I think could be really shocking for the New Orleans Saints, but we're going to hone in here on Juwan Johnson because I mentioned he will shock the NFL, but I think that this is a player that would not have gotten the contract and would not have gotten the calls that he did from Kellen Moore unless he was passionate and truly believed that Juwan Johnson can be a key factor in this offense. I believe he could be used as a tight end wide receiver hybrid, because if you remember when he was signed as an undrafted free agent back at Penn State, back at Oregon, he was a wide receiver, transitioned to the tight end position, and the Saints are missing that big-bodied presence as a pass catcher. So this could be the player that could fulfill that role. He signed that 3-year, $30.75 million contract. A lot of y'all freaked out about it. It's very average for tight end money. I'm just going to go ahead and say that right now. And Juwan Johnson up to this point has been about middle of the pack in tight end production. And it's very apparent, like I said, that Kellen Moore has faith in Juwan Johnson. He called him late night. He laid out the plane. He said, we want you back. You're a free agent. Come sign with the New Orleans Saints. And I do believe if Juwan Johnson can put it all together and be a consistent player, this offense will be in a much better spot than people are really considering right now. And over the last 4 years, that's been the big issue for Juwan Johnson, honestly, throughout his entire career, but specifically when the production started to uptick after his rookie season, we really didn't get to see true consistency for a whole season. I mean, it would be you come on late and then you start off hot, or you come on late and you have a lot of momentum going into the season, or you start off hot and then you die down at the midway point and you don't have much momentum going into the end of the year, and then it kind of recycles and reverberates and whatnot. So for me, I want to see Juwan Johnson build off of the career season he had last year. Only 3 touchdowns. I've seen him be much more productive, and I want to see that production be massively upticked. I want to see the opportunity be more present, especially in the red zone, because I do believe in Juwan Johnson. And look, tight ends in Kellen Moore's systems have thrived. It's no mystery that Kellen Moore loves him, the tight end position. And I know for a fact that Juwan Johnson and Foster Moreau are very underrated and very slept on. And I do think if Kellen Moore can incorporate the tight ends in a very creative and unique fashion, I think that this could be a really well-run offense. And Foster Moreau and Juwan Johnson, I think, could have tremendous receiving seasons. And especially if Juwan Johnson can develop more as a blocker, it only helps the entire offense. Now, let's go to the defensive side of the football for the rest of this video. We've talked a lot about offense, but defensively, I think that's really where things are going to be shocking here. Alontae Taylor, he's a player that a lot of Saints fans have been very frustrated with because he doesn't have a lot of ball production. He's been inconsistent. He gets burned. He gets beat all the time. But look, he is a disruptive playmaker. He's extremely versatile, and I do believe that the new scheme that Brandon Staley is bringing in will elevate that disruptive role for Alontae Taylor. He stepped up this offseason in a big, big way, not just in terms of how he's been producing at practice, but as well as becoming a leader that's very vocal during this summer. He's been taking on that leadership role, which I think is a very good role for Alontae Taylor. And he's kind of a chess piece that can get moved around anywhere along the defense. Brandon Staley really gets to have fun with this player. He has a very nice ability to cover, tackle, blitz, run, defend. He can do pretty much anything you ask him to. And of course, I want to see the coverage be a little bit better, but I do think that this is a player that's wildly slept on. Kellen Moore has even said that he thinks a big year could be coming. He's going to provide a lot of flexibility for the New Orleans Saints defense. He even said that he loves watching him play. He's going to be a really prominent leader for our team. So Kellen Moore clearly believes in this player. I believe in this player, and I think with continued development and a true set role of what, and it's very clear and obvious what that role is, I think that he really, really will thrive rather than bouncing in and out and moving all over different positions. I think that you can really narrow in Alonte Taylor and have him be used for creative, disruptive defensive roles and just have him be a chess piece that can do pretty much anything you want him to do, because that's where his skill sets are. He can do anything. He just loves football and loves playing defense. Alrighty, so let's get an update on our July sub battle. We can take over in this video. We're just under 20 down, which is totally fine. Giants now, for what it's worth, has over 70,000 subscribers. So we're taking down Goliath here. This is David versus Goliath, 121 to 144. Let's take them down in the month of July. Hit the sub button to prove that Saints fans are better than Giants fans. Plus, you'll get daily Saints content by fans for fans. Now, my number one player that I think will shock the National Football League, you may have guessed it, it's going to be Chase Young, the Predator. I believe this 26-year-old edge rusher is set to have an extremely productive season. We've seen it over the past few years. The pressures have been there. Last year had over 60 pressures. but he was unable to turn those pressures into production. They need to turn into production. He signed a 3-year, $51 million deal this offseason. So I need to see that check cash in, not just in Chase Young's bank account, but I want to see it cash in on the field too. He's not quite lived up of being the second overall pick back in 2020 by the Washington football team at the time. And I will say I think that this is a year that when you combine the new scheme of Brandon Staley, you combine the hire of Bo Davis, I really do think Chase Young can thrive and he can excel. I have a lot of faith in him, and I really do believe that this defense is going to be much, much better. You can honestly make an argument that the entire defense will shock the National Football League because it's just going to be more modern, and I'm excited to see a modern-looking defense because modern defenses have adapted to cover modern offenses. The Saints defense has been so outdated over the last few years, so I'm excited to see how this defense can really, really thrive with the players you have because they have talent on the defense. That's no mystery. There are talented football players on that side of the ball. But they need to be honed in. They need to be put in position to succeed, and they need to be able to believe that they are going to succeed as well. So that goes down to coaching, and I do think that that's a big, big factor for why the defense can succeed, especially Chase Young. I mean, I'll say this, 10-plus sacks from him would be absolutely incredible. I am praying for a double-digit sack season from Chase Young, or hell, from anybody, but especially Chase Young. The Saints are investing in him, and they clearly believe in him to be the star edge rusher, the number one guy for the foreseeable future, at least for the next few years. That's why they paid him 3 years, $51 million. I think that this is going to be a big year for Chase Young, and I hope that you guys believe in that as well. Now, who do you think will be a surprise on the Saints? I want to hear from you in the comment section. We've already asked you once, but we're going to ask you again because I know not every one of y'all shared your thoughts. Who Dat Nation, I really do appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling with us today. We're going to have more content coming at you throughout the week, and of course, we will be live tomorrow, Wednesday, July 9th, around 4 p.m. Central Time. So be sure to subscribe to tune in there. Subscribe so that way you can see what the new helmets look like tomorrow. And Who Dat Nation, y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time.